Dyker Heights. Well, this is a crowd, I guess. I play to this side of the room because you guys will have sympathy for me. So I'm going to be married 40 years in May. Pixie and I, 40 years in May. The only reason why I do this is this is the only place I can get a word in edgewise. So we got kind of nice nicknames for each other. I call her She Who Must Be Obeyed, and she calls me Double H. Now you might think that that would mean happy husband, but no, it means human hemorrhoid. So Pixie, we're both Italian and we talk with our hands a lot. Pixie broke her wrist a couple of years ago, and she developed a speech impediment. But you have to understand, when she talks with her hands, it's like she's landing planes on an aircraft carrier. Just goes a mile. So she broke her wrist, she developed a speech impediment. She just didn't go. But through a lot of physical therapy and a lot of energy on her part, her vocabulary came back nice and strong, at least to the point where she could correct me constantly. So Pixie's like a fresh cannoli. She smells great. She tastes delicious. But like so many cannolis, she's killing me slowly. So when I was getting married to her, I went to my father and I said, Dad, what do I need to know? He said, well, you need to know 2 words. I said, what are they? He says, yes, dear, which struck me curious because I never heard him say that to my mom. So I went to my Italian off-the-boat grandfather and I said, hey, Norma, tell me, what do I need to know? He says, well, this is a girl, she's Italian? I said, yeah. He goes, is she a Sicilian? I said, yeah. He goes, you got to watch it with the Sicilian girls. You can tell a lot by the way they use their hands. I said, how so? He says, well, for instance, if her hands are wrapped around your throat, she's probably pissed off. Pixie will have about half a conversation in her head before she comes into the house. And at that point, I'm accused of never paying attention. We are having a heated argument one night, and I said to her, listen, you have to learn how to embrace your mistakes. So she got up and hugged me. She liked that one. So maturing in marriage is accepting the fact that your wife can't remember where she left her glasses on top of her head, but yet she can remember something I said 36 years ago on a Thursday afternoon at 4:15 p.m. After 40 years of marriage, I find that there's 4 stages that you go through. The first is obviously the newlywed stage. This is where you're going at it like rabbits, everything is great, you have that playful banter, sexual innuendo, you can't get enough of each other. The second stage is happy. The sex is still good, but what do you get? What are you doing, Mommy? I want to come in there. What are you doing? I hear her screaming, she keeps yelling Yahtzee, we want to play. The third is reality. You're feeling amorous, you look at each other, you race to the bedroom, you rip your clothes off and you just crack up because, well, gravity's a bitch. And finally, it's that tolerance stage. That's where that playful banter of your youth is now turned into a bit of bickering. You still have sex. I like to call it hallway sex. You walk by each other and go, fuck you. So we're from New York. Stacy's from New York. We were up there a couple of months ago, and my little nephew wanted to go out for ice cream. So we get in the car, we're driving. If you know anything about New York, inevitably you end up behind a garbage truck. So we're driving behind the garbage truck. The garbage truck hits a speed bump. Garbage comes flying out. This big dildo smashes into the windshield. The kid is sitting there bug-eyed. I said, I don't want to have an embarrassing conversation. So I said to him, Matt, don't worry about it. It was just a bug. He looks me dead in the eye and he goes, Uncle Rocky, how does a bug fly with a dick that big? Yeah. Thank you for the courtesy laugh. So, aging is tough. You see, I walk with a cane. I had 2 back surgeries last year, and coming back from it was very difficult. I thought it would take a lot longer to break down this badly, and I'd rather go through puberty again than go through aging. At least with puberty, people tell you what to expect. Aging every day is a surprise. Things don't work, things are broken, and I would much rather deal with acne rather than arthritis. Even getting out of bed now is a workout. I have to do like a little barrel roll to the side and throw my legs over the bed. If I get up and I land on my feet, it's going to be a good day. I go into the bathroom now, and I stand in front of the bowl, and it takes 2, 3, 4 minutes before anything starts. And then it's these series of urinary dots and dashes. It's sort of like Morse code. I've got ships at sea now responding to me. I find that there are 4 rules to aging. 1 is you never pass a bathroom. 2 is you never trust a fart. 3, you never waste an erection. And 4, you never get down on the floor without a specific plan to get back up. So you can see I got a few tattoos. So Pixie drops me off one day, and I get tattooed, and I come home, we're sitting in the backyard, and she says, "Why did you get 3 lines tattooed above your knee?" I said, "Well, you remember when the kids were little, we used to measure their growth by drawing lines on the door jamb." So she says, "Okay, I get that." She said, "But I don't get the 3 lines above your knee." I said, "Well, I'm actually measuring the impact of gravity on my balls." She says, "Oh, okay, I get that." She says, "But why the dotted line?" I said, "Well, at that point, I have to stop wearing shorts." So my cardiologist drops dead. I get invited to the celebration of life. So I go to the celebration of life. Behind the casket's this giant heart, all festooned in flowers. It's absolutely gorgeous. The eulogies happen. The heart now opens up after the eulogies are done. The casket slides inside, and he's now sealed for all of eternity in this heart. I hear laughing coming from the back of the room. So I walk back and I said, "I don't understand. Why are you laughing like this?" He said, "Well, my friend, I have to tell you, my name is Dr. Pim Patel, and I was thinking of my own funeral. You see, I'm a gynecologist." A proctologist fell on the floor. So, the economy was kind of rough. I decided I'm going to drive Uber to make a couple extra bucks. So we live up in Venice. I get a call. It's in Sarasota. I pull up, and it's a nun. Sister gets in the car. We're driving. I'm looking in the rear view at Sister. Sister's looking up at me. She says, "Why do you keep staring at me?" I said, "Well, Sister, you have to understand, I'm a Catholic schoolboy, and I'm a little twisted. I've always had a fantasy about making out with a nun." Sister says, "Well, if you're single and you're Catholic, I'll make out with her." So we pull over, and Sister and I are in the back, we're making out, and she's kissing me like a drunk girl on prom night. I get out of the car, I get back in the front, we're driving away, and I said, "Sister, I have to tell you, I have to make a confession. You see, actually, I'm married, and I'm Jewish." Sister replies, "It's okay, sweetie, my name is Kevin, and I'm on my way to a Halloween party." What do you got time this?
You have 2 minutes.
Okay. So, I've had about 15 orthopedic surgeries, 6 on my back, shoulder, knee, hips, the whole 9 yards. So Pixie decides I need to lose some weight to recover from all these things, so she gets me hypnotized. I dropped 100 pounds and started going to these classes. So one was called Flex Stretch. Flex Stretch is a combination of stretching and yoga. So I'm in the back of the room, and there's 18 women in there in their little yoga pants. And the instructor's taking us through some poses and stuff, and she says, "Okay, we're going to move into the position called downward facing dog." You know this position, right? Okay. So I'm sitting in the back of the room now, and I see 18 women bent over, and I'm suddenly surrounded by more moons than Saturn. As part of the recovery, they prescribed this bone growth stimulator. So the girl comes from the company, and she measures my neck and puts it over my head, and Pixie's watching, and I could see her. She's like really pissed off. And I said to her, "What's the matter, Pixie? Why are you mad?" She goes, "Well, I had a completely different bone growth stimulator in mind." All right, that's my time. Thank you.
Rocky.
I need a parachute.
We need a parachute.